Hey, what's up guys? Mike, Red Fox. In this video, we're gonna go over my networking setup and just some of the issues I've been running into here in the grow tent, some of the research that I've done that I think is causing some of these issues, and then what I got in today that hopefully is gonna resolve it. All right, before we dive into the issues that I've been having, let's just look a quick overview of my network setup. So down here is my server rack. You can see I have my server on there, but what we're gonna focus on for this video is the networking gear that I have. So these are two Ubiquiti devices. This top one is a UDM Pro. It's a Universal Dream Machine. On the bottom is a 24-port PoE switch. The UDM Pro also has an 8-port switch on it that I use, but all my networking in my entire house, including all my mining rigs, is ran off this. I have access points, I have stuff hardwired, I have internet, Ethernet drops in almost every room in my house. And so that runs also over to the tent, to the switch that I have there. Also down here runs all the way over here. You guys are gonna laugh, it's a mess. I have a PoE switch here that runs this computer, and then just the cable's not long enough coming over to the test bench here. It's a mess. I gotta figure that out. And I gotta run even more because this rig over here is actually running off of Wi-Fi right now. I mean, it's doing all right. But back to the tent here, the issue I've been having, and I think it's, this switch isn't helping me, but so the issue I'm having is that sometimes some of the rigs go offline. Not one, not two, maybe 3 out of all of these go offline. And what it typically happens is if I change something, maybe I take out a GPU and replace it with another one, or maybe I power off a rig, put in a new rig, some of the GPUs will go off. Some of the rigs will go offline, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. And what I have to do is I have to power them off. I have to come over to the switch, power that off, unplug everything. And then what I do is power on one by one, then plug in one by one, and then I'll be back online until typically I change something again in the tent. And I was chasing, I was like, maybe there's just like a bad Ethernet cable in here that's causing a loop. Maybe it's a bad motherboard that's causing issues, but I switched out all the Ethernet cables. I even switched out a switch. I had an 8-port one. I put a 16-port switch there, but it was still happening. And I was going nuts trying to figure it out. If you've watched any of my live streams, you know, you've heard me talk about it. And so I finally sat down and spent like 2 hours just combing through anything I could find online for anybody that could be reporting the same issues. And I did find quite a bit on old forum posts and Reddit posts around this, specifically with these generation motherboards that I'm using. So that's an ASRock H110 Pro BTC mining motherboard, spot for 13 GPUs. It's what I use in every rig that's in here except the one up top there. It uses a different board. And what I read is that the network interface card that's part of those boards can cause a broadcast storm and bring down any unmanaged network switch. And I was like, well, that sounds exactly like what's happening to me. And I think it was this board, mining motherboard, and then the B250 was another one that can suffer from the same issues. And specifically, this is like a known issue with this, I guess, chipset that's included with that Ethernet network interface card in there. And there's just, from what I could find, no fix. Somebody did make a fix for Linux-based systems if you're running Hive OS, because they can suffer from the same issue, but nothing that I could find on Windows. The other thing that was reported is that it would typically happen when you had 8 or more cards on one of these mining motherboards. And I was thinking, and I was like, man, I didn't start having this issue until I actually built, until I built this 12-card rig. Before that, everything was either 6 GPU on a board in here. And I don't know if I ever went above that until I built this rig, and then later consolidated that rig. Down there is also 12 GPUs on one board. So it sounds like what happens, or what is reported to happen, is that network interface card causes a broadcast storm. It's like a bug, causes a broadcast storm, and it brings down any unmanaged network switch. And what's happening is the network switch has no way to prevent or guard itself from a broadcast storm happening, so it just brings it down. And what happens though is like everything goes offline. Well, half the stuff will go offline, or more than half. If I plug in a display and I look in Windows, it just says no Ethernet cable detected, no internet connection detected. If I look in here, like everything looks good, right? Everything's blinking green. It looks like it's got network activity, and it just drives me absolutely insane. So I've read the way to protect yourself from a broadcast storm, since there is no apparent fix for this, at least for what I found. If you found different or experienced this, let me know in the comment section down below. So it seems like the fix for me is to get a managed switch. And that's why I actually ran both those 12 card rigs are currently running over to my managed switch, which is, these are both managed switches in there. But I still want to get everything consolidated into the grow tent as much as possible, at least close to the grow tent, so I'm not tripping over cables here. So I bought something. What I bought is another UniFi switch here. You can see this. This is a 16 port PoE switch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this open, get it unboxed, and then I'm going to replace the switch that I have in there, get this all consolidated again. We'll get it set up, make sure it works, and then I'm just going to monitor to see if this solves my issue, and hopefully I don't experience these issues again. So let's get this open and check it out. All right, here it is. Let's check it out. And some of you might be wondering, Mike, why'd you get a PoE switch? You're not going to need that for anything that's happening in there. It's a great question. I have some PoE devices like access points that are ran and powered over Ethernet, and I also have plans to get some of their cameras to install on the exterior of my house, which are all powered over Ethernet too. So I just figured the more options I have for power over Ethernet, the easier it'll be to run all that stuff when the time comes. So here it is. This looks really good. One of the things I was curious about was I had all my network switches in the tent, which is probably an awful idea. The temperatures in here are pretty good now because I've had it open. It's 89 degrees. But with this tent closed, we're getting probably close to 106, 110 degrees. And I was like, man, I don't really care about that switch. That was pretty cheap. This was not. So what are the operating temperatures on this? Can I just put it right there and call it a day and plug everything in? Answer is absolutely not. Ubiquiti says that the maximum operating temperature you want to run in the environment this switch has 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and this tent absolutely gets above that. So I can't run it in there, which is kind of a bummer. That means I just got to run all of the Ethernet to the outside and try to do that nice and neat. I have power and stuff in this disaster. So what I might do is throw it maybe on the top of the tent. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Let me figure that out. See where I'm gonna put this thing, and then we'll get all the Ethernet connected and check it out together. All right, got the new switch installed. There it is. So got everything in the tent. Now over on that switch. All right, now what I need to do is adopt that switch on the UniFi app here. So let's go ahead and set that up. It's connecting to it, and there it is. That is now getting adopted into my network so I can manage that from the app or from their website. So that'll finish up, and I just want to make sure everything is back online. So looking over here in Awesome Miner, you can see all those rigs that are in the tent are mining. They are back online, ready to go. I have to get the fans. This one just rebooted because it's giving me issues. I have to get the fans set back up, and those temperatures will go down. But all the other temperatures looking really good over in the grow tent. So still got some work to do. I want to make some more Ethernet cables, clean up some more of the mess that's over there. Run a switch probably underneath the bench here. But I'm going to keep an eye on this. If you guys have any ideas for me, please let me know. Otherwise, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more GPU mining content. Jump in my Discord if you want to chat. The link is in the description below. And as always, please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.